Hello, America. Hello, world. To the two trophy dads. Hello, Dave Thomas.
What's going on, Alan Bradshaw? It's good to be back here in the Thomas Palatial Estates so that we can continue on with some new shows. Thank goodness you got like 20 minutes in your schedule that we could get together and record some after
Yes,
some
sir.
of your you've been all over the world this week, I believe.
All over the world, but I tell you what, thanks to our fans, we finally got back in the studio, and man, they have lit the downloads up.
Keep them coming, ladies and gentlemen. We love it. We love it. We need all we can get. We appreciate it.
The people on Good Pods, dude, we got up to 19th this week in our category.
In our little category,
Our
in the
little category.
in the independent category.
I keep checking every.
We
week.
fell off. We got up there for a while, and then we totally fell out.
We hit 12th one time in our life.
And we fell out.
I keep checking. One of these days, we're going to be on the top 100 shows. I'm like, sometime in our life, we're going to be on the top 100
We got to
shows.
get to the top of our group first. And the only way we can do that, ladies and gentlemen, is with your help. So if you will go in, listen, like, download, help us get these numbers, push us to the top. We are dependent upon you, our
right.
listeners.
Let's start with something favorite to both of us. LeBron James and the L.A. Lakers, Dave Thomas. Would you like to go first, or you want me to?
Well, I'll just say this. I'm not an NBA basketball fan anymore.
Correct.
I grew up in the golden age of NBA basketball. You did as well.
Absolutely.
I don't believe we will ever see dynasties like what we saw, especially the rivalries with the Lakers, the Celtics, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, the Detroit Bad Boys, and then, of course,
Bad boys.
the GOAT, Jordan, and the
Wait.
No.
Wait. You know,
In
there's
my opinion-
people on the internet there
In
that
my
think
opinion-
LeBron James is the best ever.
Well, LeBron's good. I'll give him that. LeBron's a great ball player, but LeBron is not playing in the same era. And there
We
is
will dive
not
into that in
there
just a
is
second.
not even, in my opinion, not even close. And you know, and to say Michael's the GOAT, he's the GOAT of his era, no doubt. But you know, I grew up. I was a huge Dr. J fan.
I was going to say, you know, even though I have Michael Jordan as the high supreme alpha dog, Dr. J is my favorite all-time player.
I just love Dr. J. Just oozed cool, man.
And then probably Larry Bird.
Larry
second.
Well, and Johnson, don't you know? I will go back. I watch highlights of Magic Johnson. I appreciate him more now than I did then because I was a kid. And then and then what Larry Bird could do. Everybody said he's slow and he's not very athletic, but dude, he could light you up. You know,
The
and
worst trash talker that's ever played in the NBA.
yeah, and I didn't know any of that back in the day, but now it's all come out and it's hilarious. You know,
The best one ever, I know, we'll just go right into Larry Bird. The best ever is when he was at the three-point competition.
oh yeah,
Did not take his warm-up off.
yeah.
And he said, which one of you...
He walked into the locker room before it started.
He said, which one of y'all is going to finish second?
Yep.
Now...
He looked around. They said, "Well, what's going on?" He said, "I'm just seeing which one of you guys is going to be finished second."
I mean, if that's just classic Larry Bird.
Yeah,
right
he
there.
got into their heads first thing.
Yeah.
And then when he shot that last shot, he needed the money ball to win, and he just let her go and held up one finger and walked away and went in. It's like, wow, that's
Classic.
cool, man.
Classic.
But you know, when it gets back to LeBron and the Lakers, it kind of does my heart good that they didn't even make the playoffs.
Yes.
LeBron has just wore me out.
Yeah.
He just wore me out. The flopping, the crying, his political stances, and not that it's anything to do with race. I'm just going to say this: if you're going to dog this country, my friend, dog China. You support them, and we know what they are. They're a communist regime who care nothing about people.
Absolutely.
And yet don't criticize them, he says, because that's his money. We know where his heart lies. Now, he's done a lot of good things in the cities. I give that. But he's got a worldwide platform.
Just like Jordan got criticized for his Air Jordans where they were made from.
Well, you know, he said white people buy shoes too.
Yep.
And but LeBron, I don't know, man. There's just something about him. I mean, he's going to leave a great mark on the league. It's apples to oranges.
It is.
The league is today.
Folks, if you're looking for a high-quality pre-owned vehicle and service with a smile,
Then you need to check out Mark Motors at 11770 North U.S. Highway 25E in Gray, Kentucky, 40734. Phone number, area code
528-0069.
Facebook page, markmotors-inc.com. That's MARKMOTORS-INC.com.
Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 6.
There's no physical big men that he has to go in there and try to dominate like Jordan did.
Let me just ask you one scenario. All right. You know the abuse that Michael Jordan took before he achieved the mountaintop.
Mm-hmm.
What would have happened one time if LeBron James would have went into the hole against Bill Laimbeer?
Oh, man. Laimbeer would have crossed his eyes.
Crushed him, and LeBron would have tucked his tail between his legs.
Well, it wasn't just Laimbeer, though, too. You
Rick
had Dennis
Mahorn.
Rodman. You had Rick Mahorn. I mean, you were taking your life in your hands.
Here's the thing.
And then you also had the Celtics.
Yeah, I was going to say,
and the Celtics weren't any easier.
in the 80s, there were no layups.
No.
No layups. And here's the thing. If you got called for a technical foul, you have committed murder on the field or something.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
on the court.
Yeah.
You know, and listen, there's a classic episode where Bill Laimbeer was punched by Robert Parrish.
That was the Celtics. At the Celtics.
And
Isn't it?
Laimbeer got thrown out of
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah. Yeah, Robert Parrish tomahawked to come over.
He just had enough of
wham, yeah. And they threw Laimbeer out of the game. That was fun. But that was at Boston.
That was at Boston.
And they hated Laimbeer. They hated him.
Not many people liked him.
But that team, yeah, I mean, and then you also had the Knicks.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, the Knicks
Now, the
were
90s Knicks were a version of the Bad Boys.
yeah,
The 80s version.
yeah. When they had what was his name? The point guard. Oh man, they had John Starks.
John Starks. Nuts.
Wait, John. Was he at New York?
Yes.
Okay.
He's the guy that Reggie Miller didn't have
Yeah.
fun with. Remember that?
Yeah. And then they were tough. And you
Yeah,
had
the
Patrick
ultimate-
Ewing.
Yes.
And see, they used to have Charles Oakley at Chicago.
Yeah.
And then they traded him to New York. And man, he was like a big tree
He was
down
an
there.
assassin,
And you had
yeah.
him and Patrick Ewing. And then they got Xavier McDaniel.
Yep.
Yeah. And he was no chump.
Derek Carper too.
Yeah.
He was and you remember the ultimate crazy fight that the Heat and the Knicks got into, and Jeff Van Gundy was hanging on one of the legs. They were dragging him
I mean, he's
all
only like
over
what?
the court.
He's like 3'7". I mean, good grief.
And he grabbed a grandmama's leg like he was going to stop him.
Yeah, but no, I don't think this Lakers team wouldn't. They would, and listen, I like old Steph Curry. The guy's a great shooter and things, but that team, they wouldn't. I mean, none of these teams today could compare to any of those teams.
And what-
just the physicality of the game and how the game has gotten softer now.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no way these guys could play like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they might be able to, but they'd have to adjust their game. They couldn't play the way they do now. They would have to do some major adjustments to play like they did back in the day.
Well, two things going before I rant here. First of all, LeBron James could not have played with Kobe Bryant because Kobe Bryant would have punched him in the face for his shenanigans.
Well, was it at a All-Star game that Kobe got mad at LeBron because LeBron wouldn't take the last shot? He passed it off.
I'm sure that's
and
right.
Kobe was like, "Take the last shot, man. You're the man."
You're the man.
It was at some game there that Kobe really criticized him because he wouldn't take the last shot.
And second, I would say this Lakers team is probably one of the worst that was ever before even Kobe was there and even before Magic Johnson. Pretty sad. Now let's get into why I'm so happy. Beloved Kentucky player Anthony Davis. We all liked him when he won a championship stuff, but as he's gotten to the Lakers, first of all, he's fragile as a piece of glass, and also he's sort of temperamental like LeBron now.
Yeah.
And then the funny thing is, now we have LeBron had a mysterious ankle injury and sat out the last two
Set out
games,
the last game.
and could have won the scoring title. And then, at the postseason press conference said, I'm just going to sit back and provide my input and let the GM and Miss Buss make the decision. We know who makes the decision. You created this team.
He's done it everywhere he's went.
You brought Russell Westbrook into your. People have said, well, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. No, if he is, then get rid of the Hall of Fame.
He's just a ball
Russell
hog.
Westbrook is a Hall of Famer. Get rid of the Hall of Fame.
He's a ball hog.
Ball hog who can't shoot, can't guard. LeBron James, you created that team. So, and what he will do probably is run to another team somewhere until his son. He's trying to hang around till his son, who may not even be an NBA player.
Yeah. Oh, he'll be there.
So he can.
He'll be there.
somebody will take
LeBron
him.
will make sure of that. That's his MO. Anywhere he's gone.
Yep.
He went to Cleveland. He said, I can't win with these guys. So he goes to Miami, trades off all their draft picks, brings in some guys, but they're starting to get some. I mean, Dwayne Wade and Ray Allen were, they were long in the tooth.
Yep.
And then leaves, goes back to Cleveland, uses up all their draft picks, brings in Kevin Love, and they got Kyrie. Then Kyrie, everybody wondered, why did Kyrie leave after 1 year? Well, you kind of saw why. He just couldn't get along with him.
And what happened to all the Lakers good players? They traded them.
They traded them all off, traded the draft picks.
Or Westbrook.
Yep. And now, and he's just left the teams in turmoil whenever he leaves. And I would, and then you take a team like the Memphis Grizzlies, who, they've
Do it
grown
the
their
right
team the old way.
Yep.
And they're playing good basketball.
They are.
Kudos to them.
Yeah. LeBron is like, what was that called? I know you're the history teacher, man, where the group of people would come into an area and then scavenge it and then leave. There's a big fancy term for that. I can't remember. That's what he would do. Like,
What?
just, where they'd come in, they'd just take all the resources and
Go and
stuff,
just loot everything?
loot everything. Yeah, that's just what he does.
Yeah.
And so, and I would also say, and you may think I'm crazy, I know you do anyway, but I would say the championship they won during COVID, there needs to be an asterisk with it.
Yeah, that was.
Because and
Yeah.
the fall guy, and he's probably happy because he's getting paid now, is the coach,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Vogel. He won a championship,
Yep.
and then 2 years later, because of LeBron's crappy decisions, GM,
Mm-hmm.
and regardless of what they say, Pelinka is not the GM.
No.
LeBron James is. Any more to say about the Lakers?
No.
Until next time, America.
Are we still recording?
Yes. Mark Motors.
Gray, Kentucky.